This video is a quick overview of the Gnome 3 desktop. In case you're not familiar with it, I'll just kind of get you started here on it. To begin with, you're going to notice one major notable difference between this desktop versus something like Windows, and that's the fact that I don't have items sitting on my desktop. Everything is going to be in this overview mode that I'm going to have to go to by clicking on Activities. If you don't like clicking on Activities, don't worry. You can press the Windows key on your keyboard and it will automatically switch modes for us. Or if you don't have a Windows key on there, it's also called the super key. It'll allow us to toggle back and forth between this overview mode and our normal mode that we're used to. Over here on the left hand side is this dash area. This is kind of a docking station for applications. If I click on Firefox, you're going to notice Firefox will open up for us to work with. And one of the wonderful things about working with a newer desktop is it incorporates a lot of the newer features. For instance, like the tiling. If I drag it to the left, I can let go and resize it. Same thing for the right or to the top. And if I double click on the title bar, of course everything goes back to the way it was. So that's kind of the newer features in most operating systems that make it nice. If you want to do the minimize, you can right click on it and still choose minimize, and it will minimize that for us. I'm going to go back here to this overview mode, and if I wanted to look or search for an application or a setting, I could definitely do that. Like if you're working with a network, if I just start typing in network, you're going to see your different options for networks. And so if I click on this, it'll bring up this application for me. And so it's kind of nice. If I go back here to this overview mode, you can see both applications that are currently running. If I wanted to, I can go ahead and work with my desktops and move things to different desktops as well, which is kind of nice. I can have multiple desktops running. Used to be we had a desktop switcher in the bottom, and they've kind of changed up our menu here for this, which is a little bit different, but it can work really well. If I click on the application that I want to work with, of course it's going to pull that one up for me to work on it. Let's go back here to this overview mode. And if I wanted a list of all the applications that are currently running, I could certainly find that by looking at what I've got here. Now if I want to add something to this, my favorites or this dash area, I can just drag it in and it's going to go ahead and set it there for me. If I right click on it, I can also remove it, and it says remove from my favorites. And so there's a lot of nice little cool features that I've got here to work with. If I wanted to throw in a CD or add some new hardware device to my computer that I'm working with, I could go ahead and do that. And so I've gone ahead and just installed the CD for the VirtualBox, which I've got this currently running through. And you can see now that I've got, if a CD gets popped into my operating system or my computer, I have the option of opening it or ejecting it, which is kind of a nice little feature for us to work with down here at the bottom. When it comes to logging out, some of this, depending on what version that you're using for your Gnome desktop, usually sometimes it says suspend here, and some people have had trouble with that. If you hold the Alt key down, it will switch it over to power off. But I've just done some updates on my computer and I've noticed that the suspend is no longer here, and now it just says power off. So this may be a newer feature for the desktop here, with just having power off there to shut it down. Some of the typical key commands will also work. If I hold the Alt key down and I press the F2, it gives me an option to automatically enter a command. Like if I wanted to run Firefox, I could go ahead and hit enter, and it's going to go ahead and run that for me as well, which is kind of a cool little feature here to work with. Of course, if I hold the Alt key down and press Tab, it's going to give me the options to switch between applications, and I can go ahead and do that there. And if you wanted to switch between desktops, you could always just hold the Control Alt and press the up or down arrows, and that will allow you to switch between the different desktops that you currently have up and running as well. So it's a kind of quick way to switch between them. And so there's a lot of the same features that you find on most of the desktops that are out there. As far as the key combinations are concerned, it's just some of them have been slightly changed within this operating system. And one of the newer things that has been built in to this operating system is the ability to record your desktop. If you hold the Shift key, Control key, Alt key, so it's Control, Alt, Shift, and then press the letter R, you're going to notice that we've got ability to record our desktops now, and you'll see this little record icon coming down here. And it's going to go ahead and record it and save it here in our home folder. If I wanted to stop it, I can go ahead and press that same key combination again, and it should stop the recording, which is kind of a cool little thing that we've got here to work with. If you were to take screenshots and you didn't want to install any third-party software, the desktop itself actually already has it in there for us. And so if I were to look at the home folder, which I'm going to go ahead and just do by typing in the window key or the super key, type in home and hit enter, And as fast as that, I can just basically go to the home directory and I can see the files and so forth, and you can see some of the screen captures that it just did of my screen. So this is the Gnome 3 desktop, kind of getting familiar with it and understanding it.